Good morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Wednesday, the 17th day of June, 2026. I hope you're safe and healthy today. I hope your families are safe and healthy and that the needs of you and your families in terms of food, shelter, clothing, as well as health are being met today. Blessings upon those that work in the area of health, along with first responders, doing all they can to save lives. Those also that pick up garbage to keep places clean, and those that make deliveries for our convenience. Double blessings on the men and women trying to help rescue, deliver, and recover teenagers and children, victims of child molestation and pedophilia, the people that are victims of prostitution, child prostitution, pornography, child pornography, human trafficking, and sex slavery. Double curses on the perpetrators, profiteers, and perverts that create demands that cause these evil industries to exist. Finally, double blessings on the homeless. More than 700,000 men, women, children, families, senior citizens, military veterans, homeless in the United States of America. Blessings upon them, for theirs is the kingdom. So today I want to talk about the future of the New York Knicks because it's already happening, as we kind of thought was going to happen. People are going overboard. Some talking dynasties, and at the other end of the spectrum, the haters talking about how we lucky and how we was weak and how this is a weak year and the Knicks, it was all these excuses. Bottom line, the Knicks are the NBA champions, and they're going to be the defending NBA champions next year. Now, after that, we need to talk because people have always, and I see this, I've already seen it, and I'm starting to see it again. Every year, like clockwork, people go overboard with what the Knicks should get and why and all this. There's never any strategy. It's always about like an NBA 2K scenario. But really, let's go back over this one more time. And please, listen to the video before you start asking questions that the video answers. Anyway, so when they got Karl-Anthony Towns 2 years ago, it opened the championship window. That window is 4 years because that's Towns' contract. Now, Towns is in his prime. Jalen Brunson is in his prime. In fact, their whole starting five, with the exception of Josh Hart, who's slightly past his prime. But the rest of them are in their prime, and all of them together are good enough to win, as I mentioned, another championship. So, where do we go from here? I don't think 2 chips in a row, though it's tremendous, is a dynasty. So let's put the word dynasty out of our mind. No, we have to start thinking about the future. Now, I want you to understand, when you're thinking about the future, you don't overreact to that, as many of you will. I still don't think they're going to make a pick at 24. I think they're going to trade that pick or trade down. Because you have a championship team right now, and you don't have the space to give anybody playing time. You right now, you're trying to hold on to Kolek and Alvarado, and I already saw some guys talking to some guard from Arkansas. No, you don't have the space for that. That guy won't play. And again, you're always getting people that think some rookie is going to be in the rotation. It's very rare. And with the Knicks, it ain't going to happen because the Knicks got their rotation. Some of y'all still looking to play NBA 2K. You need to calm down. So, what do we do then? Well, you first have to understand clearly that at some point, Karl-Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson and Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby are going to slow down at some point. Now, OG would be the least because of those people, he's the youngest. I think OG this year is going to maybe turn 27. He's still very young, and he's just reaching his prime right now. So you're going to keep OG for a while. But then at some point, and it doesn't matter who they re-sign. Like, let's say they extend Karl-Anthony Towns. I'm telling you right now, after this championship window closes, they're going to trade him. Okay? Brunson, the type of game that Brunson plays, and he's in his prime right now. So he get the footwork. He's going to always have the footwork. But when it starts to slow down, and it will, not right now, not next season. So we're not talking about next season. Some of y'all get carried away with that too. No, his type of game will be at probably this level for another 2 or 3 seasons. So you're going to have that with him. But at some point, you're going to have to trade him. And you're rebuilding. Now, the rebuilding process has already begun. But most people don't see it because they're looking to play rookies right away. And they're looking to, find some superstar that they can develop, but it really already started. And it started when the Knicks got Dadiet, when they got Kolek. It started already. Diawara. And the Knicks got all of these guys cheap. Okay? Now, Dadiet is the most expensive one because he was a first rounder. And as I said, they're not going to be spent. That I was surprised they even used that money at that point. And, but I don't think they're going to be spending no first round money right now because they got to pay these guys that can win them another championship. Okay. So right now, then, they're not worried about getting the future talent. But you got to actually trim down some guys. So right now, back at the roster guys. So you talk about Trey Jamison, Dylan Jones, Jeremy Sohan, Kevin McCullough, Pacome Dadiet, and of course we mentioned Muhammad Diawara. You got him. Young guys, Tyler Kolek, and Uporti, right? You got Uporti also. So you have a number of young guys. Not all of them are going to stick with you during the beginning of your rebuild. And this is how again, long-term sustainable winning organizations begin and end with the front office. Okay, so as long as you got like you said, we talk about, you want to use the poster child for that, Oklahoma City. So Oklahoma City goes and trades for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. They dangled Paul George, and Kawhi Leonard, who's already decided to sign with the Clippers, requested they go get Paul George. So they did. They gave up some first rounders for Paul George. One of those first rounders ended up being Jalen Williams, who's been All-NBA defense, who probably, because he was hurt this year, cost them the championship. Not his fault, but I'm saying a lack of his health caused them to lose to San Antonio. But tremendous player, All-NBA, All-Defense, bright future, still young, in his, I don't even think he got to his mid-20s yet, but maybe he is. But they really started with that. Then they started making trades and building. They got Josh Giddey, okay, lottery pick, traded him, okay, get Caruso. They got Chet Holmgren, second overall. What a robbery that was. They got him in 2024. To wait him, he sat out a year because he was hurt. And then he comes back and, okay. Then you get other guys, Jalen Williams. You get A.J. Mitchell in the second round. You get Jalen Williams in the second round. One of the biggest steals they got is Lou Dort. Lou Dort is an All-NBA defender. He's a knockdown shooter. He was undrafted. He was undrafted at Arizona State. So they built their team, and that was front office, the Sam Presti and whoever's working with him at the Oklahoma City front office. They building that team. So now they get Shai Gilgeous in 2019. 6 years later, they're champions. Okay, that's how rebuild happens. And you can see right now, they have enough backspace, young contracts, they can continue. Okay, Chet Holmgren, like I said, he's still young. You still got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander might be 28 right now, so he's in his prime. Then you got still a whole bunch of guys, A.J. Mitchell on the bench, who they just got in the second round. They got a lot still. That's how you build long-term sustainable winners. So with the Knicks, they're not quite that situation. Nobody really is, but Karl-Anthony Towns, he born in 95, so he's going to be, this year, he's going to be, 31 in November. Still in his prime. But you got to understand that's the signal you're on the downside. And that's why a lot of fans looking at players like last year, a lot of fans were looking at the guy that was trying to make the Knicks, I forgot his name, but as if he was still in Milwaukee in his rookie year or second year. And say, no, man, no, but people will freeze things in time because you can look at a YouTube video and say, oh, he's great. He may not be that same player because time does catch up with most players. Catches up some faster than others, and you can never tell. Like LeBron James, who knew he was going to be 40 years old playing the way he's playing? I didn't. So he was 30 years old. He was, tremendous, all NBA, all world. But now 40, he's still doing the same thing. But that's rare that you see that. So this coming season, the Knicks don't need to really go out and get a whole lot. They really don't because they got their team. Okay, there's no need to do anything to this team. They just won a championship. So, but you want to start preparing guys like Kolek. You want to start preparing guys like Dadiet. You want to start preparing guys like Diawara to be your core in about 2 or 3 years. Okay, so what's gonna happen here is the Knicks are going to be in the running for the chip next year. Okay, I think they could win it again. And after that, though, that's pretty much the end of the run. You got one more year under the Cat contract for $61 million, but that's the end. At that point, don't be surprised. After next year, if they start talking about trades and things like that, because now you got to start to rebuild. So you're going to go back to 17, 21 wins for a minute, maybe a season or two. But that's okay. Right now, you got Diawara, who's going to be real cheap. He's on a cheap deal. You got Dadiet, who, Dadiet just turning 21 this summer, and and then you still got, as I mentioned, you still got, aside from them, you still got other guys. You still got Jeremy Sohan, who's really Jeremy Sohan, 23, 24. You got a bunch of young dudes you could build future with. You got a core. To me, again, it's Sohan, Kolek, Diawara. That's your core young dudes. You could maybe add a hoop party in there a little bit. I mean, he's not going to be a superstar, but you're not going to expect everybody to be superstars. But you got Diawara, Dadiet, Kolek. You got maybe hoop party. You got to, get them ready. McCullough I'll be surprised if he's still on the Knicks come opening night, not because he stinks. There's no room to play him. See, McCullough is 25 right now. He's going to be 26 next year. So if he's going to be happy to be in the league, but I think a lot of us believe he could really stick in the league. Like he could be a regular player in the league, which means he's going to get more than just like a two-way deal. So they may have to move. The Don does guys favors. I think McCullough is going to get moved for his own sake, to get more money, get more PT. Jamison is a little older. Jamison is 27 right now. No, he's 26. I'm sorry, he's 26. Let me not age him. He's 26 right now. He'll be 27 in November. But, again, I don't know how long he wants to hang out at the end of the bench. I don't know. But these guys you may not see going forward, But the Knicks are stacked with everybody else, and I mean stacked at every position. So that being the case, right now, because of Deuce's flexibility, you could run JB with McCall. You still got Alvarado as a point guard. You can run Deuce as a 2 with Kolek as the point. You got options, and that flexibility is going to be used. Mike Brown has already shown us. Some people still talk in theory. Talk facts. You don't have to guess. Kolek and Deuce can play together. They've shown it already. So that can happen. Alvarado already shown he could ball. He could play with any of them in the backcourt. Okay, that's already happened. So we know that could take place. But going forward, I'm thinking 2 years from now. That's when. So now you got your core, and that's important because you don't have to worry about getting another core. Young people for the core: Diawara, Kolek, Dadiet. You got your core right there. Sohan, you got your core right there. Maybe Houporti. Okay, now you're looking for a couple of more pieces like that. But what you're really going to need, which is going to be the toughest part of this, you see Oklahoma City started their game building like that. The first they had drafted James Harden, right? They drafted Kevin Durant. They drafted Brody, right? So you had them drafted. Then when they got to the point where they were trying to get big money, Oklahoma City was trying to keep him. But Durant punked out and went to Golden State. Harden wanted to be a starter. He was coming off the bench with those guys, and he got all of that. They gave him the Houston team, basically. And so that is how it started. So then Sam Presti had to make moves. He gets Paul George in there with Carmelo, and then he trades Paul George. And the next stage of what became a champion started with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. You got to get a guy, I hate to quote, but, y'all know what I say, Bacalao. I hate to quote Bacalao Lover, but look, you got to get a dude. We got one now. We got two, Karl-Anthony Towns and Brunson, but you can't. You're gonna have to get a dude. So at some point, you got to put yourself in a position either through the draft, like Oklahoma City did with Chet, and with or undrafted like they did with Dort, or trade like they did with getting bright skin. I forgot his name. Hartenstein. Sorry, they were getting Hartenstein. So you got to, and you got to have a savvy front office. So for the Knicks, I am not worried about what's going to eventually, not this, again, it's not this coming season. So don't start tripping and being stupid with these dumbass trades. But you're talking about 2 years from now. You're going to start looking at, okay, what could we get for Karl-Anthony Towns? What could we get? And Karl-Anthony Towns, even at like 33, 34, he'll be balling enough so that some team that's in the lottery will want to use him as a piece to make them legit. I don't know if they need to trade Brunson because of the style game he has. Eventually, as he gets into his mid-30s, he could probably come off the bench. And Brunson is competitive enough, he wants to win. And again, the players are usually the last ones to understand when their time is up. But he's got his daddy there that could tell him. He's going to have made his money and all that. So you're talking about 2 or 3 seasons from now. But right now, I would not be trying to tell you who the Knicks going to pick in the first round because I don't think they picking anybody. That's a waste of money. And Dadiet ain't wasting no money. Okay? You're going to get a lot of undrafted dudes because that's real value if you get a Lou Dort that's undrafted. Or you get Diawara late in the second round. That's real value. See? So right now, they gotta re-sign Diawara because Diawara is so good. He's outplayed his draft position. Okay, he really has. He's outplayed his draft position already. So with him, and even so, Diawara is not going to be getting no $10 million a year from anybody. So it ain't like, he's going to be too expensive to get. This is the time when you try to sign him long term. Don is good at that. You could throw him $3 million a year for 3 years, and you have him locked in. Okay, and that's a future piece right there. Okay, he ain't gonna be a major. Y'all already calling you. I want to see him in a bigger role. Stop tripping. What we really want to see. Let me talk for you for a second. What you really want to see next year? Another chip. Am I lying? It ain't the time to be experiment with bigger roles. Now Diawara is being well developed in the Knicks system. And he's going to continue to be well developed. And you're going to see him start some games next year like he did this past year to get more experience, to get him ready for when he's going to be part of a core to lead the team forward. Him, Tyler Kolek, Dadiet, you'll see them play a little bit more. And Brown is good at that. In some game in mid to late December, you might see them start. Okay? Cool. But we're just, and Brown said it this year, he is not thinking about that game. He's thinking about playoffs. He's keeping his core fresh. Okay? But people are so short-term in their thinking, they're starting to do stupid things. Imagine this guy on the Knicks. This rookie's going to be in the rotation. No, there ain't no rookie that's in this class that the Knicks is drafting that's going to be in their rotation next year. Look at here. There's a lot of good players here. Okay? Let me not demean them. But let me tell you something. Ain't no Dink Pate. And Dink Pate is going back to Providence right now. Dink Pate is good. 6'8" point guard, can shoot, hand, do all that. He wasn't even a regular roster. They offered him a 2-way deal, which he refused because he's going to make more money in NIL at Providence. But that's the point I'm making is don't expect that all of a sudden some rookie's going to make the road. Anybody seeing that is really on some sort of strong crack. No. You just won a championship. Breaking into this team, forget about it. Not this coming year. And so what we're doing now is trying to slowly, quietly get a core for 3 years from now. That's really what I'm saying. 3 years from now. Get a core for 3 years from now. See, Josh Hart, I think he's going to be the first one to start declining. And the reason I say that, he's a young man in terms of regular life But I'm going to tell you, eating all that candy ain't good for you. It ain't. He's going to jump off a cliff eventually. He's going to have to change his diet. And I think he'll do it. But I think he's going to slow down enough that it's noticeable. Okay? And I'm not saying they're going to trade him. Not now. Not right now. Somebody mentioned the other day, trade Josh Hart. You see, again, the premise, you do not change something that's not broken. The Knicks are the NBA champions. You don't change NBA champions, especially when your opponents have no answer. One brother contacted me from some clickbait dude talking about San Antonio trying to get Jaylen Brown. Maybe they are, but you know what the idea is? See, if you're trading, say, Harper and somebody else, and you're pairing Jaylen Brown with Wemby, what you're trying to do, again, right now, all the teams are trying to figure out ways to beat the Knicks. That's what happens when you're the champ. People have to match up with you. So the Knicks hired Brown to match up with Oklahoma City because Tibbs was only playing 7-8. And by the way, any of y'all come on my channel talking mess about Tibbs, you're going to get done right off. I don't want to talk to you. I'm not going to answer you. I'm going to get rid of you. Some boy wrote some damn thesis about Tibbs. Get out. Tibbs is still, we still pro Tibbs here. Just see, you don't have to be crapping on people just because they get fired or because they get traded. Some of y'all stupid. Dad. Anyway, don't come on here talking about Tibbs. He's still our boy. I still support him regardless. That's what loyal fans do. Anyway, what was I saying? So as I was saying, 3 or 4 years from now, you got a core that you already kind of got right now, but you just slowly develop them. Once those guys that are now second year, going into third year, get a little bit of development, and then you got Brown that's willing to play during the course of the regular season, he will start different lineup. He's going to have his core dudes that we know. But you're going to see a Dadiet get a start. You're going to see a Diawara get a start. You're going to see a Kolek get a start. They're going to get more than that. But that's just for their development and resting your guys for the playoffs. Okay? That's what you're saying. Now, everybody has to now match the Knicks, which is very difficult to do. That is why San Antonio's talking. If they were, I can understand why they would talk about Jaylen Brown. I'm not saying that's a legit click. But I'm saying I can understand because you're now bringing 1A and 2 and 1B at the Knicks. Okay, because Jaylen Brown is in his prime. He's balling. So that's going smart. That'll be a smart move. Okay, but everybody's trying to beat the Knicks now. When you're the top dog and you're the champ, everybody's got to. And the Knicks and the league is copycat. So as I mentioned yesterday. So how do you copycat? How do you copy that? Many of y'all missed it because I mentioned Joker and you were comparing Joker to Cat. That's not the point. The point is you need that type of player to match Cat. There's not that guy around. Okay? I don't care who, you got Chet, you got Wemby. Chet can't guard Cat. And then you got Wemby. Wemby could maybe guard him, but we've seen what happened just now. And then you got Joker, and I'm wondering who else. There's not that many guys. The guy that's in Charlotte, the boy Dadiet, he's a dog defensively. So I'm not saying he could guard Cat, but he will give it the old college try and put it that way. So, but it's very difficult to have the combination of a Karl Anthony Towns that can do what he does and a Jalen Brunson that could do what he does. It's very difficult to find. So that's what teams are looking for. So the rumor about that the boys shared with me about Brown trying to get to San Antonio makes sense. Because at least you will have two immovable forces and two-way immovable forces on your team. Okay? So that's what everybody's going to try to do. But it's not going to be that easy. It's just not. Everybody's going to try to get Giannis and pair him with another guy. Like if Boston gets Giannis, you could see them pairing him with Tatum. See, that makes sense. Now you're trying to get two dudes to match the Knicks. And you got to go 10 deep. Also, okay? As many of y'all coming on my channel criticizing the Knicks bench, y'all need to go somewhere with your short-sighted stupidness. We ain't buying it. The Knicks got a team. I've been telling y'all that. Some of y'all still ain't buying it because you listening to media. The Knicks got a squad. They the champ. You got to come at us with something. So, and I'm going to tell you, all of them cats, Deuce, Mitch Rob, Shannon, Alvarado, Colt, they're all going to be better next year. They're all going to go up a notch next year. All of them. Okay? That's the Knicks got to be the favorites coming out of the East again. Okay? They're all going to be better next year. Is Cleveland going to be better? Is Donovan Mitchell going to be better than he was this year? No. What they're hoping is he's the same. And they can build around him. And they're having trouble doing that. Detroit, they're going to be better. Because Cade is that dude. He really is. Jalen Durant, he's going to be better. They are. Detroit's going to be a problem. And then if Halliburton can come back to his form from the injury, Indiana's going to be back. Because they're a good team. They're a good organization. So we're going to have competition, but the Knicks got to be favored to come out of the East next year. So everybody is going to try to match us. Meantime, our goal is just to stay healthy, keep the band together, which is not no problem. And then you keep your youngins and just slowly bring them along. You don't have to rush them. You slowly let them be hungry. Diawara is hungry. Let them be hungry. Let them come along. Then when you start seeing your boys slow down, you start giving your youngins more PT. Then you got to make a trade and get another dude in there. I don't know what they want to get because, like I said, I don't see no Karl Anthony Towns on the horizon. I don't see that. That don't come around very often. So you got to find when you could get one, okay, after you win your next trip, okay? So we'll see, though. But now, you know, on the back end, on the DL, you're looking at your youngins. Some of them going to be in summer league. All of them, the ones that I keep naming, you're going to see them get some starts next year. But they're not going to be core pieces. But, you know, slowly but surely, you get them started. That's what Brown is good at that. That's one of the highlights. He played, and that's what Tibbs messed up, because Tibbs played 7 to 8, didn't play no rookies. Let them get their practice in, let them go G League. Brown puts them in real game situations. Brown gets on them. Brown sits them down. Brown, you know, he's really into trying to develop. So I like that going into next year. I think that's one of the reasons Knicks won the chip this year. The Knicks knew they needed to expand their rotation. Tibbs is very stubborn, so he wasn't going to do that. I still love Tibbs, but we know that. But Brown was willing to collaborate with Gent Malone and them, and then start expanding, collaborate with Rick Brunson, get his whole overall consensus, and put it to work. And I think he's still going to do that, and that's going to be a plus going forward. So it's not going to be a dynasty, but we could win 2 chips. Clyde and them won 2. We might be able to win 2. I'm pretty confident we could win another one. So we do that, then you start your earnest rebuild, okay? And you already got a core to get it going. A core that you're not going to be paying, you know, no $200 million. None of them cats. Diawara, Dadiet, Kolek, none of them getting no $200 million. Okay, so you ain't got to be paying like a whole bunch of dudes. You're on rookie scale right now. You're gonna try to make it as long as you can. One of the worst rookie deals I see was Mitchell Robinson's. He signed I think his rookie deal was something like $700,000 a year, $800,000 a year, something like that for 3 years or something. Some crazy number. And I was like, dang, man, whoever his agent is got to see. That's how you keep talent cheap. Now, eventually, Mitch Rob got his $60 million. He got a bag. And now he's looking to get another one. But right now, we keep our youngins cheap. Okay? You ain't looking for no first-round picks. I don't care who it is. Not at 24. That's too much money. Trade down or move it forward to the future and keep your plan in place. You still got a championship team. But at the same time, you look into the future without really hurting yourself. And that's what the key to is, that don't hurt, don't screw yourself. There's injuries, there's things that happen, there's referees that will screw you. But don't screw yourself. It's a game of life too. There's always things come at you to try to mess you up. But don't turn the ball over yourself. Enjoy your Wednesday. We'll talk soon. So